Leero bwakya bakamba mu kyalo kyesu ekya Zambia ekyaweka Njoy. Abantu baafa bakamba kule mu nfumbwe. More than 20 people balebe pati ni babiri. Bagamba. Fish to Arufyanya. People have died. Mumino Yabakapokola. The police killing people. Why? In the same government, Bagamba, abductions have happened. Bagamba, if you're not with them, it's either you're dead or you're in prison. This government, you're going to change, big man. Fish to Arufyanya, Bakubika office. Fish to Arufyanya. Why me? Missing. Achani Rubamwa Ichoan Dizona. Where is why me? HH, tell us with your government, where is why me? Give us why me. Justice for why me, big man. Wachila mo HH. Wala tupisha bega kutupisha Bagamba. That's why they can't pull under big man. My youth. My no what that. Something to say, man. Bagamba. Wanesa to apweni. Mujala Jesu. It's your Zambia. Tuamona mwempwa. Bagamba. Tuamona mwempwa. Nama abductions Bagamba. Muteko toaleta. Madulete lama. Amazala mush. No, you can take her. What I bump today? No, you can take her. Apa no mabane. Mufulo pa mufulo. Mufulo pa mufulo. Makuvota bane. Mufulo pa mufulo. Mufulo pa mufulo. Makufuatika. Mufulo pa mufulo. Mufulo pa mufulo. Makufuatika fuatika. Mufulo pa mufulo. Mufulo pa mufulo. When you taya kwa fwe. Mufulo pa mufulo. Mufulo pa mufulo. Aikona man. Mufulo pa mufulo. Mufulo pa mufulo. Itaya kwa fwe. Mufulo pa mufulo. Mufulo pa mufulo. Nakuliati kwenyu kwenyu. Mufulo pa mufulo. Mufulo pa mufulo. Mayona batata. Mayona batata. Bayuthi. Tentwisuli amenso. Tentwisuli amenso. Batusendela nomba batwipaila na hope Yesu. Endika chagwa lungu watubela tinani mkwatila plan B. Nomba tuwadishiba plan B aba mmino ya kualesa. Bantu banga abalafu mukyalo kyesu ekya Zambia. Nibanga abantu abala abducted mukyalo kyesu ekya Zambia. Bambire kuli jeje banda. Nibanga abantu abala ba mu prison. Abena kitotela kilangwa. Bonze baba prison n'entungulu kina shimbi na shimbi. Muli one government ya kwa HH. Abantu naba fa mweleza. Aikata nomba baikata na kuli endika chakwa lungu atukwatile plan B. Abakubo byabyo omufulo big man. Mufulo pa mufulo. Bilabine batsendela endika chakwa lungu. Apa nomba bane. Mufulo pa mufulo. Mufulo pa mufulo. Bakuvota bane. Mufulo pa mufulo. Mufulo pa mufulo. Bakufuatika. Mufulo pa mufulo. Mufulo pa mufulo. Bakufuatika fuatika. Mufulo pa mufulo. Mufulo pa mufulo. When you taya kwa fwe. Mufulo pa mufulo. Mufulo pa mufulo. Aikona man. Mufulo pa mufulo. Mufulo pa mufulo. Itaya kwa fwe. Mufulo pa mufulo. Mufulo pa mufulo. Nakuliati kwenyu kwenyu. Mufulo pa mufulo. Mufulo pa mufulo. HH does not mean well for Mother Zambia. Zambia to Asebana, this is not the Mother Zambia that we were left with by our ancestors, our forefathers who fought so hard to liberate us. Dr. Kenneth Kaunda, Nalumino Mundia, Mama Julia Chikamoneka, Simon Mwansaka Pwepwe, they fought so hard to put this country on the map, to put this country where it is today. No man would destroy this country because we believe in unity. Bamayona batata bapunda to one Zambia, one nation, and we shall together we will change, and we are
When can I enter
and see the face of God?
like the deer that yearns
For running streams, so my soul is yearning for you, my God.
my soul is thirsting for God, the Lord of my life.
When can I enter and see the face of God? My tears have become my bread, by night, by day, as I hear it said all the day long, where is your God?
These things will I remember,
As I pour out my soul, how I would lead the rejoicing crowd into the house of God, amid cries of gladness and thanksgiving, the throng wild with joy. Why are you cast down, my soul? Why groan within me? Hope in God, I will praise him still, my Savior and my God. My soul is cast down within me, as I think of you, from the country of Jordan and Mount Hermon, from the hill of Mizah. Deep is holy mountain, in the rock of waters, forests and
from 1.6 million to 28.3 million kwacha per year per constituency. Do your numbers. Let me remind those who don't like graphs and numbers. You can't run a country without numbers. You cannot run a country without numbers. Then you are a joker. You are just a joker. Because you cannot run a country without knowing that if you borrow too much and you consume that money, you get into a debt trap. You have to calculate. You must put most of that money into revenue generating. When you revenue generate, you can then support CDF to a tune of 28.3 million kwacha. That's how it works. You need to know the numbers. Please, you need to know the numbers. You need to work out what the weather is likely to be before November so you can plan properly. And as a drought comes, you do need numbers, please. Otherwise, people perish. I was on the farm when someone was preaching, talking about graphs and numbers. All we were showing is that this is how we have moved from independence to where we are now. And there's something wrong there, which we need to change. That graph shows us that we've not been making the right economic and social decision. Now we must make the right decision. We made the right decisions by introducing CDF at this level, 28.3 million kwacha. And you will see that this number, these graphs will show by 2026, you will see that there will be desks in classrooms. No child will be sitting on the floor. You will see that maternity wings are there and there's water. You will see that the children who were not in school will be in school. You will see that there are enough classroom spaces. That is what numbers do if you know how to use them. But if you fear numbers, we have introduced free education. We can send you back to school and learn some more.
At the close, my dear young people, I wish to state and defend all priests in the Archdiocese of Lusaka in particular, and in the world in general. A priest is not a joker, for heaven's sake. A priest is not a joker, for heaven's sake. A priest is a shepherd of God's people, and he lives among his sheep. He knows his sheep as well as their needs, and when he speaks from an informed perspective. If you ignore his message, you ignore it at your own peril. Apropos, a joker is a comedian. A joker is a comedian who performs for amusement I asked the people of God to judge who is a new joker.
That's a story escalating the crisis. All the Archbishop of Lusaka did was to defend his priest from the deanery of Chawama Parish, who falls under the Lusaka Archdiocese, because in his remarks, in his homily, Father Anthony Salangeta, Father Anton Kapembwa Salangeta, had preached responding to the president, the head of state, President Hakainde Hichilema, who had just had a press conference in which he had put up a graph. And remember that particular press conference, he ridiculed the president, that he should merely communicate. And the things he was talking about could only be felt by people if they were true. And Father Salangeta said, for the people of Zambia, what they know if the economy is doing well is just simply the, ulutoshi, the food on the table. Remember, at this stage, we're suffering the worst rolling power cuts. The load shedding was at its worst. Remember, the price of millimil was in excess of 450 kwacha. The cost of living crisis is something we've never seen in living memory, because everything was up. The exchange rate was at 28 kwacha, fuel price was at 34 kwacha, millimil was in shortage. There were so-called smugglers. We had GMO foods that were GMO millimil that was being imported from South Africa. And it is at that stage that the president really looked ridiculous, because he was talking about economic development and economic growth that our people could not feel. And he said, Wakateka, ifwe ulutoshi. And the president was very annoyed when handing over those CDF vehicles, the ones for monitoring and evaluation. You saw how angry the president was. He even now referred to Father Anton Salangeta, that Father Salangeta was a joker, and that he had commissioned free education, and he invited Father Salangeta to go back to school. Now, Father Salangeta is a priest. To be a priest, minimum 2 degrees, minimum 7-8 years at school. He's not someone you can send to basic education. And then you saw the Archbishop literally said, then who's a joker? A liar? Who is a joker? And hence the trouble. The Archbishop has never rested since then. Today is the second day of the year, 2nd January 2026. We're starting the year in earnest. We have an election this year. The calendar is out by is it 25th May? The presidential nominations have to be filed in 3 months before the actual elections in August, on August 13th. I think the Constitution says the first, or is it second Thursday of every year, election year, is the election. It looks like our election this year will be on 13th August. The stage is set. The state of the country is in paralysis. There is tyranny and dictatorship in full swing. The president started very, very earnestly when, first he took away the powers from many institutions and grouped them together and brought them under himself, under that statutory instrument. People raised fears, but they didn't know where he was going. He was very determined. He wanted total control of all institutions. Then he blurred the line for independent institutions like Parliament and the judiciary, and he got total control of law enforcement agencies, and they were highly weaponized against critics and the opposition. ECZ barred the PF from 2023. The Patriotic Front has never participated in any election under the banner of the Patriotic Front. He proceeded to take over the Patriotic Front. In fact, whatever the troubles of the Patriotic Front, the president of that party is literally President Hakainde Hichilema. I'm grateful that I have in the studio a voice that has not diminished, a voice that has remained resolute, a voice that speaks for our people. Brebna Changala, civil society leader. Mr. Brebna Changala, welcome to today's program and thank you for joining us.
Good evening to you, Ambassador, and good evening to your viewers.
We have a nation in crisis. Let's start with the latest issue, the summoning of the Archbishop, Dr. Alik Banda. You know, when this man started, people thought he was just attacking the PF. No, Kwacha and Kabushi, Malanja and Bowman, they are PF. Our people stayed away. Oh, Kabushi and, Kawambwa, Pambashi and Mwenze, Fiaba PF, when he set up an economic and financial crimes court and only PF appears there, the people said, Fiaba PF, until he touched on the laws of our country. He set up cyber and security laws that shut the country into silence. He now amended the constitution. Now people are beginning to work. But you've been a resolute voice from day one. Even after campaigning very heavily for the president, you felt that he was going off tangent. Let's begin from the call out of the Archbishop of Lusaka.
Good evening once again. You see, governing a country is not just about winning an election and being declared a legitimate elected president, elected members of parliament, elected council chairperson or a mayor. There is need for wisdom. And wisdom has eluded the UPND and our president, Mr. Hakainde Hichilema. The summoning of His Grace Archbishop Alik Banda was first and foremost ill-timed. Secondly, is malicious. Dr. Alik Banda, I speak here, has never worked for ZRA, never bought a vehicle from ZRA. You can see the receipt for that motor vehicle, that it was bought by somebody else, called Kaunda something, and given to the Archbishop. That aside, the matter of the auction of the motor vehicles has been to court, and two gentlemen, Kingsley and his colleague, were convicted not for theft of motor vehicle, but for failing to follow procedure. That is another story for another day, because the matter is in court. I must put it here very clearly and plainly. Zambia is under siege. We are under attack. I stand here as a person who supported the coming into power of Mr. Hakainde Hichilema, together with many others, Simon Zukas, Emeritus Archbishop Mpundu, Yusuf Patel, Lili Monze, Ompi Kumbula, the late Sketchly Sachika. The too many. You can talk of Gilbert Temba, Faxon Chamende, Linda Kasonde, State Councilor John Sangwa. The list is on and on and on and on. One thing you must analyze as you look at the tragedy of today is why Mr. Hakainde Hichilema got rid of all those that gave him a platform, that gave him energy, that stood with him, and all those who expected change to be the order of the day and the restoration of the rule of law. So what we are seeing today is Mr. Hakainde Hichilema's mission to close the chapter on our constitutional democracy and plural politics freedom of expression, and other freedoms and liberties that came with the multi-partyism in 1991. Mr. Hakainde Hichilema was in opposition, rather the UPND, for 23 years. And out of that 23 years, Mr. Hakainde Hichilema led the party for 16 years. He had a challenge to ascend to power. He lost it to Mwanawasa. He lost it to Rupia Bwezanbanda. He lost it to Michael Sata. Twice he lost it to Edgar Chagwalungu. And is very aware that a free and fair election, after his dismal performance, which is anchored on lies and deceit, no reasonable voter cast a vote in his favor. Hence, what we are going through. He has basically attacked the very foundation and structure of what made him become president of the Republic of Zambia. He does not want anybody to take over from him for whatever reason. And sometimes I think he's even fighting nature, because at some point he needs to leave. The Archbishop is a sad one. It's a sad one in the sense that this bishop has been under attack since Mr. Hakainde Hichilema came to State House. He has been abused by his own party. And you can see on the social media the celebration of his call out. And this is where I find it funny. They are telling us that let him go and clear himself. When you are invited by the police, you go and give your side of the story. But they are forgetting they were in opposition for 23 years. These are people who had conflicts with the law. The only excuse is not to go and clear their names all the time. Their excuse was always they are being summoned, arrested, abused because of where they come from. And that issue of where they come from has continued even when they are in power. So this will give you a foundation of the current chaos. We are being abused even when we plead that we work together. The nation is in disarray. Whoever you meet is coming. They can't speak out. They have been shunted in a corner of fear, in a corner of silence. The voices that can speak are very, and those who can speak, the risk is you. We are living in a moment or time when a man does not want to unite this country. I tell you what, all he needs to do, because the intelligence has briefed him that you are not wanted, you are too harsh on certain people and regions. Why don't you call an Indaba? Listen to everybody and understand what is it that is not doing well, so that we can meet halfway. Today we have sedition. Today we have hate speech. And if you look at these charges, which are colonial in nature, hate speech is only against the Tonga-speaking people. There is no hate speech if you attack a Bemba. There is no hate speech if you attack a Karware. No hate speech if you attack the Easterners. The pattern is the same. Divide this country. And our president has no time for reconciliation. He has no time to make a phone call to those who do not agree with him. And he has built a base of sycophants those who praise him every day for doing nothing. And he can't separate between flattery and reality. Coming back to the topic of the day, for me, it's a huge costly mistake in our national agenda as we go forward. And this is an election year. Thank you.
You've referred to something very fundamental, that it appears this matter, when it arose in 2023, when they were investigating, I think they were investigating about 60 vehicles, obsolete, some seized, some surrendered to ZRA because of the work of ZRA. They came across these two interesting vehicles, one which was donated to a charity and one which ended up with the Archbishop. When they verified, when DEC verified and the facts were brought out, the vehicle was bought by a gentleman called Mulopakaunda, who was a ZRA employee. And he took the receipts and got a gate pass on 20th November 2020 and collected this vehicle. It appears that this is a vehicle that was then gifted to the Archbishop, despite those facts, despite the DEC having dealt with this matter the last two years. They've proceeded to embarrass him. They took the testimony of a lady who was board secretary, Mrs. Ngandu, who said one vehicle ended up with the Archbishop, even when the defense produced this gate pass and receipt that this vehicle was never bought by the Archbishop. The Archbishop never bought any vehicle from ZRA. But it appears that they are determined to embarrass the Archbishop. I refer you to a letter that was signed and written by Dr. Sishua, an academic, and John Sangwa, who raised alarm, on Christmas and Christmas season last year, that President Hakainde Hichilema, they challenged him in an open letter, that he held a meeting with the Apostolic Nuncio, and he demanded that the Apostolic Nuncio should do everything possible to remove the Archbishop of Lusaka, that he should be taken to Vatican or anywhere else. And they accused him of treason. And Sangwa and Sishua raised alarm that the lies by the president were just mere lies, because all Archbishop Alik Banda had done was to speak for the voiceless, speak in his capacity as Archbishop. The police, like you have alluded to, the DEC are saying the Archbishop should come alone. He should be separated from the flock. They are just pursuing him alone. But we remember that President Hakainde Hichilema never went alone to the police. Just speak to this issue. And will you accompany the Archbishop?
Hakainde Hichilema is not fair to this country and these people. He's playing divide and rule. A person of the Archbishop's stature cannot go to the police unaccompanied. He is a shepherd. He has a flock. Mr. Hakainde himself never went to the police alone or with his wife. He went with his cadres. And these are the cadres he had put in the arm's way. When you hear him telling you about Mapenzi Chiburo, Nsamansama, one thing Mr. Hakainde doesn't tell you was Nsamansama shot in his house while having dinner, was Mapenzi Chiburo shot at a house while having a family meal or a family discussion. No. They were shot because Mr. Hakainde was exercising his constitutional right. The right to assemble, the right to communicate, and the right to belong to a political party. a mass movement. For him today, through Nason Banda, to say that Bishop Eric Banda must go to the police unaccompanied, that is pure madness and is totally unacceptable, and it will not happen, because we are going there. We are going with him. He is our shepherd. He is our archbishop. And let me speak to the opposition. The opposition political parties and the leadership, you have been contained. For 4 years, you can't hold a rally. When the police tell you, after you notify them as per the law established, then somebody from the police headquarters say, we don't have manpower, so don't go there. And you have been obeying. Mr. Akahinde never obeyed such instructions. And because he knows the outcome, he has not done the police reforms. The police establishment is the one he inherited from the Patriotic Front. It's a rogue, indisciplined entity which can do anything at any one time. So I invite the opposition leaders and their followers. For the last 4 years, you have been dormant and in a corner of loss. You have an opportunity to exercise the reasons we were created as political parties, as mass movements. And it has provided the platform. And that platform is a DEC. Do not listen to a policeman who wants to withdraw your constitutional rights. The right to march, the right to protest, the right to assemble, the right to dissent, the right to remain. You have to go to the police with your members. Let's support one of us. Archbishop Eric Banda is not just an ordinary archbishop, as Banda wants to tell us. And that Nason Banda told to stop politics. Those offices you are temporal, and don't treat the president as if it's a monarchy or is a cousin of Jesus. He is a man who struggled for 16 years to be where he is today. So he must be humble. He must understand that power is with the people. When he was sworn in at the Heroes Stadium, he was not given a certificate of purchase that he had bought this country. And certainly individuals will be abused to the core. Because this administration has gone for the opposition and civil society and those who do not agree with them. And when there will be regime change, the same Nason Banda will start going after UPND, and we will not allow that. If there is anybody doing anything wrong in UPND, arrest them now while they have power. When they lose power and he wants to follow them, that is total abuse and persecution. Because this has been a trend. Anti-Corruption Commission only arrest people when they have left office. DEC the same. And they call themselves profession. My fault. What profession? You are bootlickers. You have failed the country. How do you fight corruption and money laundering in reverse? There is a gentleman who bought that vehicle from ZRA and gifted it to the Archbishop. Have you spoken to him? Have you given him a call out? We want to see it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Dear listeners, you will have an opportunity to participate and call. There is a program ready to stand in solidarity with the Archbishop. on Sunday, you are encouraged to go to the Cathedral of Child Jesus and pray with the Archbishop. Wherever you pray, wherever you congregate, even if you are Jehovah's Witness, even if you are an Adventist, on that day, if you love our country, you are being invited to go on Sunday and pray with our faithfuls, the followers of the Archbishop, His Grace Dr. Alec Banda. Then on Monday, as Brebna Changala stated, he says you cannot let the Archbishop go alone to the DEC. Learn from Hakainde Hichilema himself. And I like your appeal to the opposition. Truly, the opposition has sat on its right. They take the seats from them. They take Mwense, they take Kawambwa, they take Pambashe, they create a law for them, they lock up Munia Zulu, they go to Lumezi, they go to Mfuwe. Now they've removed Tasila Lungu unfairly. When we are told, don't hold the rally, there is issues of security, we oblige like wet chickens. We've never even, attempted to assert our rights that are in the Constitution. And I'm glad that you are calling out the opposition, that every time we are told sit down, we all sit down. Probably the very best person to learn from was Hakainde himself, who recognized that unjust laws must not be adhered to. So why do we adhere to these laws that Public Order Act and, these mere statements from the police? The tragedy of Bill 7, speak to that, Brebna Changala, the tragedy of Bill 7. You were involved, I know you are a backroom operator. You are tempted to see if we could have reasoned, if the constitution should be passed in a proper manner. But an illegal constitution, processed illegally against court orders, is now law. Act number 13 of the Constitution of Zambia. What are your thoughts about Bill 7, which is now our new constitution?
We are in a serious dilemma. When you have an elected government which has gone rogue, an elected government which has no confidence in itself, their confidence is reposed elsewhere, outside the country. You have a government that does not obey court orders or court judgments. You have a president who is in a hurry to remake this country on all fronts, legally or illegally. The Bill 7 is an illegal criminal document which was declared unconstitutional by the Constitutional Court. But he went to bring it back through the back door. He created a technical committee in a runner with a period of, I think, 1 month or so. They went around, even the people who accept this appointment. Let me say, my fellow citizens, you see that this guy, what he's doing is wrong. Why do you accept these statements and be co-adventurers in the criminal industry? That technical committee had brilliant brains who I thought they would decline. And yet they decided to play ball. And when their report was produced, it was never presented to cabinet. The following day, the president brought back the original Bill 7 and used the technical committee report as a submission at Parliament. Who does that? This Act 13 was rushed for bad reasons, and posterity will review what was playing in the background. In the history of this country, have been members of elected members of parliament being flown to a hidden place like children, bribed and brought to parliament on the day of the voting. That is shameful. Not only to the MPs, but even to the person who carried out that assignment. Even the one who hatched that this bill will be getting by hook or crook. Zambia is in wrong hands. We better admit. And this is why I'm appealing to the opposition who are day in, day out issuing statements from their comfort zones. They formed political parties to defend the Constitution and the people they represent. Bill 7 could have passed, but it has passed against the wishes of the people. Nobody wanted that, including some members of the UPND who are decent. Then I go further. Zambia has a cabinet that Mr. Hakainde Hichilema presides over. I don't believe that a cabinet of 28, the plus or minus individuals, does not see that they are sitting on a time bomb, that they are taking the country in a wrong direction. This is the reason I thought very, very seriously that before Bill 7 will pass, what happened in 2001 will come to play, where Nawakwi, Christian Tembo, General Mianda, another Mianda, and many more, 22 of them, resigned from cabinet. When a president is pushing a rogue agenda, you resign. This cabinet surprises me that they have decided to be co-adventurers in illegalities. I thought 1 or 2 or 3 will part company. I know the economy is bad. Surely some of us are surviving. Why can't you ministers in cabinet resign? Come and stay and live with us. Let's share the misery and poverty. Because the economy has collapsed, but they'll give you 5.66 GDP growth. It's only growing in their dreams. The industrial base has collapsed. The energy sector is beyond description through configuration. When you look at the youth unemployment who account for close to 75%, they are now finding comfort in alcohol and the illicit sex. This same government is going to colleges and universities singing the song of meal allowance. They don't tell them after the meal allowance what is next. There is no future after graduation. There are no industries. And the only thing is to bloat the government and employ people in the government. The job creation is in private sector. These are simple things one to understand. Is to grow the industrial base. But you want to grow the civil service. Bloat it up and go and use it as a campaign tool. That meal allowance, Mr. Hakainde himself came from the village to the University of Zambia, and he had the best free education. Not this one where he's packing children in classroom like sardine fish, where the teacher has no control and he has got no one-to-one pupil relationship. And you go and use it as a campaign tool. The meal allowance, what are they feeding these children at these colleges? Which they are making, they are using them to turn against their own parents who sent them there. That's evil. That institution, the University of Zambia, the colleges, Kobusu, that is supposed to be a center of excellence, and where critical thinkers are not those who are allowed to think through the belly. the meal allowance. Don't disgrace our leaders. Those people at UNZA are our leaders. Kobusu, our leaders. Every non-college, our leaders. But indoctrinate them on a meal allowance, which you had, and you are the better meal allowances yourself. The reason I know why you sing meal allowance, because PF removed it. And when you use the word remove, it tells you that meal allowance was always there. Somebody removed it, and he was removed from power. So you cannot torture the nation on meal allowance and mislead the young ones. You even make them celebrate an illegal acquired document called Act number 13. That's a disgrace. I appeal to the people to wake up. We are sleepwalking into a tragedy. We have a president who doesn't want to engage with those he doesn't like. Mwanawasa was a different president. When he hears concerns from the citizenry, he will meet them and find out why they are complaining. Mr. Akainde Ichirema, you might not be in good books with us. And you might think we are the people that you constantly call they hate you. Talk to us. We were once with you. We left you because you are not honest, and we are many. We feel we were shortchanged. We came to you because we had hope in you that you are going to do reforms, police reforms, judicial reforms, civil service reforms, parastatal reforms, law enforcement agencies reforms. You were a special purpose vehicle. Somebody who was going to turn around this country, not through, but through consensus with the governed. You are running this country alone. As Archbishop Emeritus Mpundu would say, you don't listen. You don't get advice. And people must come to terms that we are in trouble. How does a president commission the attorney general to sue a grieving family in South Africa and hold a demand's body to ransom? 7 months. It's just conscience and wisdom. ECL can be buried tomorrow if the president decides to tell Kabesha to pull out. Drop the court case. ECL will be buried. Let's assume he wins this case, Mr. Akainde. The body is brought here. What will it make him? A hero? I doubt it. People have moved on. And I plead with the president, move on and start talking to us. Give us hope. This is for elections. We cannot have this tension. There is a tension in this country. Just because people are not talking, you actually know that there is tension. Because the government systems are all firing on all cylinders. And by now, you are well informed that there is tension. Thank you.
Bob Brebner, I'll be releasing you at 21 hours. But for you, our dear callers and viewers, you'll have a platform. After Honorable Brebner Changala leaves at 21 hours, we'll turn it into a people's forum and we'll just hear from you and your cause. Archbishop of Lusaka, with a long pattern from 2022 of harassment against him, police sent against him, and the Catholic Church in particular. You know, we had the church, we had the bishop's office in Kabwe stormed by the police. We had cadres in Impika storm the diocese office because there's a radio station and Ari Kalaba was appearing there, and they didn't care that this radio station is in the diocese's office. We have these patterns And now today, we have an Archbishop of Lusaka, the foremost Catholic leader, being summoned. You saw the harassment during the Oasis Forum when they were trying to prevent the president from passing an illegal bill into law, into the constitution. You saw the rhetoric. The president assembled his own team and his own so-called clergy who were even insulting the Catholic Church in his presence, and everyone was laughing. You are invited. There's a church service on Sunday. Go there in solidarity. Whether you are UCZ, if you love our country, whether you are SDA, whether you are Lutheran, whether you are Reformed, find time to go to church on Sunday to the Cathedral of Child of Jesus and pray with our people in solidarity with their shepherd who's under siege, who this government has been scandalizing from day one. Causeway, a news media ran from State House by State House media staff. Look at the insults they've piled on the Archbishop and on Brebner and on all of us for the last 3-4 years. And the president will not drop that newspaper. He uses it as a bulldog to attack every critic, every opponent. The opposition, Brebner, doesn't seem to have the agency that is in the country. The state of the country is at a precipice. But the opposition don't seem to see it. They are too busy jostling for positions. They can't even this late hour, sit together and get one amongst themselves to feature. What are your thoughts to the opposition before I let you go?
Hakainde Hichilema calculated all what is happening today. You see, we must give him credit that when we followed him in the opposition, we thought his intentions and desire to lead this country were noble. In the history of this country, a sitting government has stolen a political party to destabilize the opposition. PF was stolen on Independence Day, 24th October 2023, at Mulungushi, when there was a visiting head of state, a Tanzanian president. Cameras moved away from State House to Mulungushi, and the heavy presence of state police protected that illegal assembly. That's the only thing they can do. This government is illegalities, one after the other, illegalities. And there was a deputy IG who was lifting fingerprints at night. Why I'm giving you this background? The Registrar of Society is a government office. The Registrar of Society is domiciled at the Ministry of Home Affairs. Ministry of Home Affairs has a permanent secretary. Ministry of Home Affairs has a cabinet minister. And the cabinet minister sits in cabinet. Who's president in cabinet is Hakainde Hichilema. And they have been playing games. The courts are compromised. PF's matter always adjourned sine die. This country is being destroyed while you are watching. All arms of governments are now answerable to one wing, and that's the executive. The Mao Sampa reconciled with PF. Instead of now handing over the power, the party to the legitimate owners, in the middle of the night, Registrar of Society moves the party to another rogue criminal, to a criminal. I have no other better word. PF now is celebrated by a bandit. And what pains every citizen is that this bandit is seen in the wings of the, is highly celebrated. And when you sit in your home, in your office, you wonder when did we lose this country? Because definitely what is happening cannot happen in a normal society. It can't. So, when you say the opposition is jostling for positions, yes, we can blame them. But I can tell you that sooner rather than later, out of this chaos, people will unite. That I do believe will happen. I know this regime doesn't want, because they have one belief which I must also openly tell you. They have this belief that members are weak when it comes to handouts because they are lazy. These are facts. They like quick money. They don't like working very hard, so they can easily be bought. And they have given us a signal in the manner they have dealt with the MPs in Parliament, where all those we thought we elected them, they will come and consult us, just decided to vanish in the middle of the night into Lower Zambezi. They came back and delivered the vote. Now, everybody is upset. It must be put on record. Wherever you go, nobody wants to see those MPs. Nobody. They are dirty. They are dirty. Those MPs, if they are listening, they are dirty. Because they cheated the Oasis Forum. They went to Kapingira House, presented a list of 37 names that they will vote against. But because they are greedy and they are lazy, as we are told, they sold out. But there will be a cost to that. There will be a cost to the buyer, the one who bought them. And there will be a cost to the commodity, that commodity which was purchased. Because that money was not shared with the various constituencies. That money was their retirement money. I'm told they will be compensated through delimitation. Again, it's a selfish agenda. Delimitation in a collapsed economy. They don't even want to tell you what is the cost of maintaining one MP for 5 years. What is the cost? And what do these MPs do in constituencies? You can pick any constituency. Tell me any constituency which is successful. And then you go and multiply because you want to do gerrymandering. Another act of banditry. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Honorable Brebna Changala, I had gotten you from other programs and I had hoped that you come and speak to our people at this critical time as we face Monday when they've summoned the Archbishop. The voice from government and the UPND is that, that we should allow the Archbishop to go alone. That, look, is Archbishop Alec Banda on the call out? It's not the Catholic Church. They are separating, that they are not fighting the Catholic Church. It is you and me who are banding this matter together. Just speak to that as you offer your last words as we release you.
Live. You see, there is a danger when you are a leader, convince yourself that you are running a country of wits who don't know anything. How can they tell us that they are not fighting the church but the head of the church? That is being unfair to the people of Zambia. Can you separate President Hakainde Hichilema from the people of Zambia who elected him? Can you do that? You see, UPND has revealed to the people of Zambia that it's a political party that is anchored on dishonest, vengefulness, and inferiority complex. Hence, finding themselves in a cult where they all think the same, move the same, do whatever the leader says. Because you can see with this tension in the country, if they were reasonable men and women, they could have spoken to the leadership of UPND and later on in government that stop this. Let's talk about other economic issues. And I appeal to the people, might be a lone voice. Sunday, let's meet at Pop Square for a prayer. On Monday, wherever you are, whether you are a Catholic or not a Catholic, you are a Muslim, you are a Buddha, you are a Seventh Day, you are a Pentecostal, you are UCZ, let's march and follow His Grace, the Most Reverend Archbishop Eric Banda, as he goes for his crucifixion. We must not sleep. After Eric Banda, many of us were just flies who can be killed with a sword. Let's reclaim our country. We need our second liberation. After 1964, this is the only time, even Kaunda was so ruthless, but he was careful in things he was doing. Very, very careful. He had the reasonable men and women. He had Mary Fulano, Mungoni Liso, Mainza Chona, Narumino Mundia, Marimba Masheke, Humphrey Mulemba. You can mention Elijah Mudenda. You can mention them. He had a team of solid men. Ruben Kamanga. Mr. Hakainde, you can't tell me after Mr. Hakainde, who is a strong pillar in this government that we can rush to when we can't agree with Mr. Hakainde. We don't have. Because most of them, they are just yes men in that cabinet. There is a time I thought, after the election, that should Mr. Hakainde Hichilema fail to lead us properly, I will rush to Honorable Charles Mirupi. Little did I know, he equally pretended in the opposition that he was useful to the struggle. I didn't know he was a co-adventurer. Again, look at the cabinet itself today. The strongest person, I have always said, and I've put him in trouble among his colleagues. If this UPND was led by one Gary Chilarang Ngombo, we would not have this problem. That young citizen is a patriot. That young colleague of ours, Gary Ngombo, is a jailer. I don't know UPND has missed him to put him where he rightly belongs. And because of that, he has been sidelined. I speak about Gary because I've seen qualities in him. And today, I think he's a pariah. I don't know what his role is in the UPND. There is another gentleman who I have been with many years. Jack Mwimbu is a colleague of mine. I never knew that with power in his hands, he will turn grey. And he will listen to nobody but to his appointing authority. These are men I thought they will help us. I'm telling you, if these people had lived to be true leaders, we would leave Mr. Hakainde alone and go and talk to this gentleman. But everybody in UPND is a scared lot. Because I'm going back to even the issue of ECL. The Attorney General should have guided the president that we can't do what we're about to do. Injunct a dead body. Because we wanted to give him a befitting a burial here in Zambia. A man you never wanted, a man you wished dead, is now dead. What do you want to do with this body? Members of the UPND, please help the president to walk away from ECL and allow ECL to be buried by his family and those who hold him dear, his close colleagues. Mr. Hakainde and the UPND, they have no business with ECL in his day. They have literally no business. They are using state power to harass the dead. There will be a cost, either on earth or in heaven. Good night. Thank you.
Thank you very much. God bless you. Dear viewers, we had civil society activist Firebrand Brebna Changala. He has touched on three major issues. One, the summoning and a possible arrest of Archbishop Dr. Alec Banda. He said there are schemes to separate him from the flock. They want that voice silent before elections. Are you going to allow it? We allowed them to steal Mwense's seat. They killed Humphrey Kapapula. Nothing has happened. No investigation, no arrest, no prosecution to his murderers. The seat went to UPND. Go to Kawambwa and Pambashe. Nixon Chilangwa and Ronald Chitotela were not even at the scene. And the magistrate, Martin Namusha, they complained to JCC that was acting in a corrupt manner, and they delivered evidence and recordings and notes to JCC. That magistrate refused to recuse himself, proceeded to jail them, and refused bail pending appeal. The two lost the seats. We came to Kwacha. We came to Kabushi. Both Malanje and Boma Lusambo are in prison, and they were not allowed to participate in that election, even when the Constitutional Court directed that they have a fundamental right to participate in that election. Many of you sat. Many of you thought this is just a matter for the PF. They created a special court to try former leaders, only former leaders. None of the corrupt under UPND have ever been arrested, fired, or taken to that court. You looked, you thought it was a PF. Until he passed laws that has silenced you, that has put you and cowed you into fear. The cyber security and cyber crimes law that are not fighting cyber crimes, that are not fighting cyber security, but are criminalizing speech, and they've proposed lengthy sentences up to life imprisonment for speech, just for speech. That is when many people began to wake up that this is no longer a fight between Edgar Lungu and Hakainde Hichilema. It's not a fight between UPND and the PF. This is the fight against the national soul of our country. Brebna also touched on the PF, and he said when they stole the PF, people didn't realize that this was a fight against democracy. That President Hakainde Hichilema was fashioning a de facto one-party state, and Brebna elaborated extensively on this. Then he touched on the matter regarding Dr. Edgar Chagwa Lungu, a matter that just sends me into tears. To date, we can't put him to rest because of the ego of one man, because of the ego of a man who has actually even moved on, who insists he must attend that funeral and burial because he thinks he's entitled by virtue of his office as president. It's your turn. This is now, we've allowed Brebna to go. If you have something to breathe, here is the forum. Let me see on my phones, and you can now call. There's another matter. You are being invited to stand with the flock of the Cathedral of Child Jesus on Sunday. There are two services, one at 7, the other one at 9 o'clock. You are invited. It doesn't matter who you are, whether you are an Adventist, whether you are Jehovah's Witness, whether you are UCZ, you are Lutheran, you are Roman Catholic, whatever you are being invited to go and be with the flock whose shepherd is under attack. It's a solidarity. And if you have time on Monday, you are being invited to go and walk with the Archbishop to the DEC. They've put up a huge machinery to isolate the bishop from the flock, but his crime is all about the flock. And you can now call on this matter and tell us what your views are.
3.5 Lucifer of Zambia. The denunciation of Archbishop Alik Banda as the Lucifer of Zambia by the UPND Secretary General, Mr. Batuke Imenda, was not only an affront on the person of Archbishop Banda, but the entire Catholic Church and its leadership in Zambia. Until now, the Chief Executive Officer of the ruling party has not retracted his words, nor apologized, apart from the party and its government calling for ceasefire. The demeaning of the Archbishop by UPND is simply a demonstration of the spirit of intolerance towards criticism, as alluded to above.
Hello, caller, please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
This is Mama T.
Yes, Mama T.
It's my brother. Let me talk about this. In the midst of all this that is happening in our country, I want to make this earnestly appeal to the First Lady. We've heard that our president cannot listen to advice, but if our First Lady can come in, maybe, just maybe, let's not put this nation on fire. It is not worth it for one's ego. It is not. Which is true. For me, I've always told people to say, Roma has been obsessed with ECL. Hence, he has failed to perform. He has failed to deliver on his promises because of that obsession. We've seen that even in his death, the man is still obsessed with the dead man. Mwamba, like you are saying about Mwamba, it's true. It started with these constituencies. We thought it would end there. And today, it has now gone to the priests. It has now gone to the bishops, which is not fair. We've asked to say, can you summon the one who gifted that vehicle to the bishop himself? We are not hearing anything from there. Meaning that the man is obsessed with ECL because the bishop himself associated himself with ECL. Now his obsession has taken to the bishop. The bishop supported the Hakainde Chilema at some point. And this is the other angle that Zambians should look at. Hakainde Chilema never has helped Hakainde Chilema. Today they are being persecuted. We don't want to go tribal, but let's look carefully to what is happening. Look at the people who have been persecuted. This is what we are talking about. And you know, Zambians, let's rise up, let's liberate ourselves. Our very own Zambia. And it is very unfortunate that we need to fight our very own, who is turning slowly and dictator.
Sorry, when you call, please speak in the microphone. Don't put it on speaker so that the sound is very clear. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Yes, Yes, Ambassador, good evening. This
Good
is
evening.
the Advocate for Industrialization and National Development, Kefas Mwapemson, calling you from Kabwe Central Province.
My dear brother, make your contributions.
Ambassador, it's unfortunate that the clergy has been brought into all these political issues. The issue to do with Archbishop of Lusaka, Alik Banda, it's a political one. And it's a political one in the sense that the Archbishop, I think you saw, that he stood by the former president. Even in the grave of the former, in death, he has always upheld and held the former head of state in high esteem. We saw that when the burial was supposed to take place in South Africa, he is one of the clergy that attended that ceremony and preached and encouraged Abalelosha. From there, that's where all these issues are coming from. Even the issue of mediation that was arranged, because he refused that I cannot go against what someone wanted or what the family wants. I can't go against that. As a result, we see now all these trumped up charges that they want to raise against him. But I want to remind the people of Zambia that remember the issue recorded in the book of Esther. The battle between Mordecai and Haman. Icho chino chirongwe ungemba ukweba tukashikemo mnowe. Echo lesa pibula iwe uinewe mwine wa isashi kwamo. What am I trying to say? Let me remind those that are in authority and those that are in leadership today. In 2011, just a mayor priest in the Copper Belt, Father Frankie Warrior, was almost arrested. In fact, he was arrested and detained in Kalulushi. What happened? The church rose and MMD lost that election. If you as UPND people would want to remain in power, touch not my anointed, because the Bible says, when you touch my anointed, you are touching the insweria kwale somwine. Terimamwa bikireba aliki ukubaba shikofu. Nilesa eicho tuyesho kwikata pama wasubobo akwalesa regardless of ofotunga mumona. David asangile so infumu na ilala gafwa iroku ipaya ngari ipere rwala nzoko batetingwipaye because you are the anointed man of God. Bamwamba, the 14, those that will come through the proportional representation. The question that I have as Kefas Musonda is, after parliament, Nikuisaba Kulaya, what role are they playing apart from just attending parliament sessions? Those are the questions that the Zambians need to ask. The other question that I need answers is, we heard the Minister of Finance present the national budget for 2026, and 156 constituencies was or were allocated the 40 million. Now, how about this, the increased in the bill or in the Act number 13, constituencies that will be created? Where are they going to get the money? It's you, the Zambians, to look into all these issues without the lenses of politics, but with the lenses.
Oh, we've lost.
It's very vital.
Kefas, thank you very much.
Voters card and decide to have leaders that will move this country in the way that is supposed to move. Otherwise, we have seen people that have killed our brothers and sisters. At the end of it all, their cases have turned from murder to manslaughter, and they are moving into the streets. Busheba tatawa kaunda ngefyo wali ifyo. Kamarange gali ile kuchifungo. Yasukire mwebe na Zambia, and let's stand out and cry out and mobilize and defend the clergy, because once the clergy are under attack by the politicians, believe me, the values and the Christian perspective that we've always held from 1991, the declaration of Zambia as a Christian nation will never hold water. Therefore, to you, the youth, seats in parliament. Allah, Nipano Tuli. Thank you very much.
Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Good evening, Ambassador. My name is Concerned Citizen.
Concerned Citizens, make your contributions.
Ambassador, let me refer you back to some of the insightful comments that you made, I think about a year ago, where you talked about Sir Thomas the Becket, the priest who stood up against Henry VIII, and he was so steadfast against that priest that in his anger, King Henry said, "Will someone rid me of this troublesome priest?" And unfortunately, that comment, which might have been an offhand comment, led soldiers to go and actually murder Sir Thomas the Becket, who was sainted as a result of that. I think we are seeing our own version of that troublesome priest according to the powers that be, and what they're trying to do to them, to him. And I think, Ambassador, perhaps you might want to repeat that story again in more detail regarding the story of Thomas the Becket and Henry VIII. The other point I'd like to make is that I know we're a religious country, we're a Christian nation, and so on and so forth, and we rely on the Bible for faith and guidance. But I am quite reticent and disappointed in us, in the sense that we almost want to lay everything to be done with us through the Bible and through God. But you see, faith has to be with action. The Lord helps those who help themselves. And I think it's enough of us sitting back and allowing these things to happen and not taking any tentative action.
Will you go to the cathedral on Sunday at 9 hours? And will you march with the bishop? Oh, he's gone. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you're calling us from.
Mwamba, good evening.
Good evening, Mayo. Balishani.
Bwino mkwai tata nina mumbipiri.
Emkwai
ona mumbipiri. Ero nachita tuni na mwiswa wa wishunota bale umfa bwino, so I have to make sure he eats. That's when I can now do other things.
Emkwai. We continue to pray for Mr. Piri, and we hope that he recovers. We are discussing the summoning of Archbishop Alik Banda, and we are hosting Brebna Changala, and he has called on people to go to the cathedral on Sunday to pray with the flock, because their shepherd is under attack, and on Monday to escort him to DEC. That is a call by Brebna Changala.
Okay. Tata, and Brebna Changala, if you are listening to me, good evening. You know, today, Max Moe is my son. Achiva parejo. Olo naisa mwe banatiba. Usapabale umfabwino. I was trying to call you. Taure asuka na my phone, and he took it upon himself. He came to see his father. So olo nachira mwe banatina wishiba mark. Me, I feel very bad. Around you are not helping him. And you, Max Moe, you know that President Hakainde Ichirema is my son-in-law. And me, when I'm speaking, because everybody's saying he's a bad leader, that reflection will reflect on my grandchildren. And since my husband has been sick, my grandchildren have been here with me. Not what to monotuba not. Ututuba na blood related to Akainde. Na Bobakaba affected. How do you summon umuntu umulandu wabute to come and explain a gift you wanted to wish kuno? wishile manja na uletera bawiswa amafruits wabaletera drink wabaletera nefi bambi nga banfwako. Your father should start explaining a gift naabeshiwokofumishe. And never in the history of Zambia have you seen me as your mother. And I told him that because when I was we were going towards the elections, to President Lungu, we are going to lose these elections. Mu Central Committee, other people started bad-mouthing me. Ukweba ati mwadishwa bamkweba balungu bena balemona titabayishire. Ati bushemu mbi mwadishwa atali ya ku UPND akayinde mupongoshi wakwe. And I thank God that I was the first one in PF to be arrested. You cleansed me as by UPND. Baleba alebe po bufyati nadia ku UPND. Ninemu abalire po kuikata over something which was not true. Nomba ba president baleba bakapokola. Ukweba tumuira ikata abantu before you investigate. Busha civil servant. Na chilampera example ya kwa Levi Ngoma. Kutalera ndafidialanda. It's the same with DEC. Ida press briefing. Bale itutumuna. Is that normal? Imwe mwalelanda umuntu ngafu ati nibalungu bete nga twambo kulanda abazede nesi balera sama civilian ati nibakayinde mukakani na pe afo nachiramweba. It's so sad. When I samweba nati umunenu share the voice of Zambia SDM nenu aleranda yesterday atifo kwa SDA bale tweba tiba katolika niba antichrist. That's the way we were brought up. Are you sure? Do you think Zambian government has control who can be appointed as archbishop? You know, it's so sad. And Babredna Changala in a Pasande 9 hours in Kabaku Cathedral. Fakali balisalapo cathedral kale nga balefwaya bakachitofu bakatuchita. In fact in Kema 6 Koloko to be there. And we are going to support the bishop. And as I conclude, na chimu ipusha Max muwe na tibusha wadi muwe nati ine na kampiongo. Ba bishop mpundu wadi tuchitile attack public. You are mfuire tuwaba tuka. Those are our fathers. Bishop Lucifer, and you think that is normal. Anyway, I've concluded. Thank you, God.
Thank you, Mayo, and greet Wamdala. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Thank you, Ambassador Mwamba. Senior, we're Danny on the line.
Yes.
I followed Vlad Changala. I love what he presented. I love what he said. There is only one question that I'll ask him. I know he has left. But you have been the active and you've brought in people together. I also want to challenge you, Changala. Zambia needs a one voice. This endeavor you were calling for the government to sit down with other opposition. But Changala, I'm asking you and requesting you to have an endeavor with the opposition parties, only those that are like tangible can set us into another pathway. Sit them down and talk to them so that they work together. Because Changala, you are a voice of the voiceless and your call has always been noticed. I will not say much of what was being said and what you've said. Everything is all. Secondly, all Zambians, can you please go and support the Bishop Pasande na Pamande? Thank you, Ambassador Mwamba. God bless you. We are always going to continue praying for our Zambia. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Good evening, Ambassador.
Yes, wa Munkonge.
Ambassador ekyakubalira kuona alala ndapaliwa Bishop Banda and the Roman abengi tabayishibwa ife Roman afiyaba nachinji kushapali inonishita tulesanga good percentage of the government workers balewomba mupatala fyaba Roman ile fatala kyonse fibahanda nga babishop abadikulira enchende kulingana n'abene kana abantu ababomba mu fatala mu government ena isa mukwata ko fesho ko yakwingisha omuntu inchito nokumutuma kuli oro bale yakula bara abasange ko bati ba administrator bali kwa patala niba Roman Catholic lero bara sita cooperate na mama shinza yako afa abantu ya masai kuli ba Roman Catholic so ilio balela ndapa bafira kitika mu cyaro te ko bati bafuma fe from no yabambo kuranda ko bali kwata lo yikuru sana yo bafwa imikalire ya bekara cyaro gatwa sasa ngefakala ifya kukanisha abantu kukanisha ukusambirira unasi nsango kwebati amazikuru ya kuri unasi mu Zambia ni kudra mbe kurusana yaba Roman Catholic lero bali afa abantu buri bali tabakwata makaya kwebati because if it reach the government tukora afa government mitekere taking advantage lero nga kwabo kwebati mu isosere babanda nga bambo kuranda ekwebati nishwalelandira palo wabo balelandira ko omwina Zambia tawelandira ko bakatolika beka ndombanga na werera sana pano ichalengo kwebati ba shima pepo basaruwe because i government especially wakateka balishi ya mapange fu bakachite cyaro lero balishi byo kwebati katolika yali bali janjilandira kwa abantu so pakwebati movement yawo ya kuchita ufuntungu pachalo wafuile bachita ataki Roman Catholic before Roman Catholic nabafira mwachilondero laba Mwamba ichalengero kwa bati barungu bekwata chance ya kupema because barungu bafumile pachikuna so balishibe fintu fo fyashe nombo mwana ndo kwa bati balilengere mwacho yumuntunga twa mupera peace na pate yabo kyonse ko telefo kona ola bakala asukana abantu bakabonfwa elyo nishi movement yeska yakabegwino so echalengere barungu no kwata peace batwara bamata muntu nga kukatira kuli bamata to wachita sarenda romba barungu tabare chita sarenda family yonse kuma coach ile movement yakwe bati batara like barungu no barungu labo tabare talala fuba eketene chipancha pie ko ze platform yakwe bati barungu twaranda na ikwe fo be karacharo ko finfileya nomba fo bantu to alifie abalala so early main target ya kona ora barungu no kona ora PF pakwe bati tabarandire ko abantu so nomba pali ino nshitefeshire kuri ba banda ba Bishop Banda teba Bishop Banda barefu abona ule ile platform ishere ya kurandira ko lete parliament bali ona ora ya kuturandira na NGOs na yena ya mobali ona ora ya kuturandira so target ya kubika bwo bantu pakwe bati tatukwete chance bamba fyo kututungurura ngefyo ya efyo to feta turefwa aro economy ichalengo kwe bati ali ama figures yale fumati economy irenda wono because yarama mines bali poka kuli fofwe bekara charo bapera ba investor bakunsi nga basenda ulyo mukuba urobale usenda balale mboko bati so metric tons nga wayakula kwa world market bashitisha nga bashitisha ali shares takwa bayesa mu Zambia so which means Zambia filaire twala file fyaro fya kunse pantanchi world market uko abura amaliteni yandara machinsu kubwera kulya ifo tulesumbure fyaro fya kunse ba Dubai bale ya pantanchi because nga basenda kopa kura kumupani yaku world market timpia shire yakura ku Dubai then baraba suminishe kwe baterama company yapo ke ami kubashesu baraba chitawa what kunse kulya mpya tashisa bene power fyabo ababere bamida mu government bale ya pantanchi tapali nako twinga bachitira investigate so fwe na Zambia twishi byokwe bati charo chesu chali batere rising economically fwe nga pokorola ni fwe bonse baba ba Mwamba bonse baba utawukana bali mu fifungo babera ko murando wakwe bati papo nga balingira okutupokorola nombo memorandum akwe bati bali batangirire plantation pali no shitanga baleranda amashuri aya kutukokorora kumaina zuru
bayama namumfa phone kunuma namumfa phone. Yeah, I have to cut him briefly. There are so many calls. Please be brief as you make your contribution. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Compliments of the season and Happy New Year to you, Ambassador.
Thank you very much. Happy New Year to you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. I hope in this new year you are well and the family, Ambassador.
Thank you very much. We are well. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
John Mabo from Italy here.
Wonderful, wonderful. Mabo, make your contributions.
Yes, I don't know if it's a coincidence, Ambassador, but is it possible to avoid? I'm just asking, like having the program at the same time. It seems maybe that it's the time. If I got when you're having one, or something, shishive.
The program we schedule our own. You can listen to it now, you can listen to it later, but our duty is just to have the program when we have scheduled to have it. We compete with no one, we don't bother with anyone. The only people we couldn't compete with were the Zambia national soccer team, so we had to give space to the national team.
Right. Ambassador, you are I didn't be even that, two timing period. Got a fair question for you, Ambassador, also for Honorable Changala. What the Zambian people think, including yourselves, what do they think is the end goal of the UPND government? And is it for the former ruling party and these opposition parties, is it that they have not learned anything from their experiences? PF, it seems they haven't learned anything from what they experienced with the Zambian populace, and it seems the UPND have not also learned anything. They are somehow making some of those mistakes the PF made. But kwati full throttle, very gear fair at overdrive. So I wanted to ask Zambians, what do they think is the end goal of the UPND government, especially top leadership? And is it that the Patriotic Front haven't learned anything? Because after these four years, I don't know if our country really has true leadership, because if it had, you can't play with the Catholic Church. The influence they have, if Zambia, a poor third world country, playing with the Catholic Church like that, they got true leaders. They would advise that you go take up, But it's like they are being devil game. So I was wondering, and I had these questions in my mind. The end goal, what the Zambian people think is the end goal of the UPND government, because it seems to the UPND...
the UPND have announced, they said they've been in opposition for 23 years, and they can be in government for 5 years. It's not about the people of Zambia. It's not about delivering their promises. No. They've made it very clear. They think that they are entitled. They were in opposition for 23 years, and they ought to keep power. That's why they always say UPND 2090. They are literally saying the power, according to them, tribal thoughts. The power was kept away from them for 50 years, and it's their time to keep the power for 50 years. Why do they say UPND mpaka 2090? So that is the end game by them. But with the people of Zambia, allow them. Bamabo, Happy New Year. Let me take other calls. Thank you. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you're calling us from. Nditayama.
Mwamba nachirako kuchitako contribute chimwe chikaramba sana ichara turetero bwafya muri chino echalo ekikyalatuleeterera obwafya muri kino ekyalo ne arrogansi y'aba UPND nabakateeka bakainde ekirema bapulezidenti beeswaba nibala abantu abakwe bati nga nirwe bali abalumendo takwali kakashano okubakaana nga wabakaana nishiwasuma omunwe ndemwe boko kyabapa bafuire basambirire okuba flexible otherwise ndemye boko twarayingira mu mensha atali ba Mwamba weso
Mkwai
ukuteeka abantu kunakirira ku bantu leteeka ba UPND barerusha namaka yonse ati bepairire PF na opposition yonse kino ekyalo kutira bakateeka ekyalo paka 2090 bushe ukuyinonsha weka we mwine no tukutitika abalanda kikyawama ekyo mwamwena sana fyo kitabarefuwa katolika because katolika arandira kwa balanda bena baretikisha abalanda ifo nomba pofo ningeba kufa opposition besu kintu kimo lekeni okushupa naye mu batatu amagrupu yali very important saleni ntunguru shimo ili ishibiko pa ground na uroro pa social media na yena abe pa number 2 na balaba mudara wesu babe ni ba chairman baba ikibabike pamo ninshi inkondo yatubangukire ya 2026 uno mwaka twali urorera sana katwareka omuntu wonse uno mwaka akapoze mumeshi bamulandu warupia nokutemwe fulo mubebe tatwakabareke ngabafiro kita unite.
Thank you very much. Thank you, caller. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Hello.
Good evening. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
This is Daniel calling you from Cape Town.
Daniel, make your contributions.
Yes, Mr. Mwamba. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you too.
Actually, I've listened to the previous caller and Mr. Changala, is it? We've all got in, we know what the UPND is doing, but my problem is we don't have a solution that can sort out the UPND. My UPND, like the other caller said, no Catholic, knowing that the Catholic Church, if anything, is able to spread and campaign against the UPND using the church because they have numbers in their churches. You can't go anywhere in Zambia where you can't find the Catholic. Already, UPND has done away with internet. You remember in the recent past, you would hear the president say, TikTok that. He knows that if not anything else, it's TikTok that can bring him down. So cyber law, he goes to that and counts down you people to say, whoever will say this will be arrested. That is the second thing from the Catholic. Number 3 is arresting the people and chasing away people like you to say, okay, if Mwamba is not in Zambia, then he will be talking on Facebook. And Facebook is already cut down. Maybe if you will see in Zambia, the network cuts that are there, losing network by Airtel, MTN and stuff, it's maybe part of their plan to say, if people don't get through their phones and what, I'll be able to limit them. But my question is, what is the other plan? Like, can't we do door-to-door campaigns? In Lundazi, there are floods there. It took government days to go there. There's no opposition there to help the people or talk to the people to say, look at your government. When it was Bill 7, they were there campaigning, fostering it to go through, giving money out. But when it's floods, the government is there in the 3rd day of the flood, and there is no opposition that is there. The whole opposition is in Lusaka. I'm thinking it's not the opposition to unite. Look at what President Sata did when Hakainde refused to be in the pact. He said you can go alone. PF put itself alone. We must remember that the next move HH will do is to put himself in the third term, because he knows if you look at the UPND, who's capable to be a successor of HH? No one. So even PF, in my opinion, PF can wait for 2031, campaign all this time and wait until the time HH will have nowhere to stand. His terms will be finished. And then now work on organizing the PF. Whoever wants to go out, let him go out. Whoever wants to stay with the PF, the next 5 years is a lot of time to do campaign. Let UPND take this one and remove themselves, because what they are doing, it won't guarantee them the next election. But me, as far as I'm concerned, this one, 2026, UPND will fight tooth and nail not to lose this election. If it means shedding blood, they will. That's how angry they are. So let them get the 2026. Let's focus on 2031. It will be the way the 4 years, the 5 years from 2021 to 2026 elapse. That's the way it will elapse for them, because they have no plan. From 2026 to 2031, they will do nothing, only to concentrate on ruling forever. But let's counterattack in a different way. Let's go off the Facebook. Let's go off media and everything. Let's campaign physically. Let's see the people face to face. Thank you, Mr. Mwamba. Have a good evening. I don't know what time it is where you are.
Thank you very much, my dear brother. Thank you. We're hosting Brebna Changala, and Brebna Changala, a Catholic faithful, has invited you to go to the cathedral at 9 hours on Sunday to pray with the faithfuls and followers of the church whose shepherd is under attack, and is asking you to walk with him to the DEC on Monday. Hello, caller, please tell us your name and where you're calling us from.
Happy New Year.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
Yes.
Amwamba nifuna nikambe kupali baakainde abo bamene bamba manje kufuna ma bishop yazienda kani kudeki kani kumapolisi uko. Amwamba honestly speaking mwamle bakambirawo benangwa bamamati kuti nanga ba first lady. Amwamba ba first lady baoneka mungasi balimo muno mchalo chatu cha Zambia. Amwamba ine nifuna nikambe so bakainde opposition yamene bali nayo ni bantu ba Zambia. Abo bachalinga banatenga mapepa koma opposition yene ni bantu ba Zambia. Ine ngapembeka kuti ma opposition leaders bagwirizane, bakagwirizana. Ise bantu bo vote ziko kutara. Bakainde batiremesa bamwamba batiremesa bakainde. Bintu vanana sta promise Zambian people civistica. Ndiye chintu chimozi chamene bakainde chamene chavafuta maningi. Chifukwa chakuti vaziva kuti vanana maboza andi vantu boza yavo vaionesesa. So avo vabhanda avo vamene vafuna kungopereka kani kuti uko kwamene vafuna vapereka. Ni chifukwa chakuti vabhanda vakambira koise vantu vovutika vamwamba. Maiti zangala bwanji muno mchalo bamwamba chakuti kulipe kukamba. Sembe bakainde swenzo kamba pamene benze mu opposition. Sembe banawina. Ifoni zintu zoti bazizifunza bakainde. Sembe swenzo abantu benzo balesa ukamba sembe swana wine. Bakainde banali na platform banakwanisa kuti nama ise Mazambianzi kuti road shopping izasira. Kuti unga zankala 50 kwacha, fertilizer zankala 250. Ni vintu vanesti naone bamwamba. So bakainde nilipempa monga mzimayi. Bakainde chino chalo nchatu tonse. Tonse we belong kuti chino chalo. Kalani na chifundo na bantu. Osati kungosta persecute bantu. Mchifukwa chachani bakainde. mwakangiwa kuti muchitederiva vamene munachita promise vantu. So manje this time around mufuna chape kwamba kugwira vantu. Ni vantu vangati vamene mwagwira vakainde mukatipe kulema. Ba GPM vanereka ndokamba manje resist vachechina stika kuli ba GPM. Muntu akati akambe nishibeve bagwira. Muntu akati akambeko nishimubeve bagwira. Vakainde na bazukulu banga ni vana wa mwana wanga mkazi. Mwana wanga mkazi ni mtonga. Kamzukulu kanga ka 7 years kunuza kuti imwambuya wai wa mamini watonga. Nati manje wai ukamba solo mwana. Ati kuskulu muntu akamba tibatonga si bantu babwira. Ndiche mukunoleta vakainde kuchita divide chino chalo we are united. And then imwe vakainde setiambe kurwishanya na imwe. Mametina rushani nana na vazungu shuwa. Ayo shuwa vakainde mwe bantu bamine muri bazambiani na imwe. Iya ba first lady vakambeko mwamina vakambira amamati yavo kuti ba first lady vari kuti muntu ngatsamvera advice kuri muntu ari wose akasa akwangamvereko kuri mukasi wake.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Today we're hosting civil society leader Brebna Changala, and he has made a passionate call.
So, the Catholic Church in Mansa has rejected a donation of 800,000 kwacha donated by the President of the Republic of Zambia, Mr. Hakainde Hichilema. 800,000 kwacha. Rejected. And that is not all. They've also rejected 225 kg bags of mealie meal donated by the minister, Honorable Kapara. When I speak, is only Kamunga Vichoka Chabe Mumutu. This is a statement written by the Diocese of Mansa.
Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you're calling us from.
Hello.
Yes, caller.
Hello.
Yes, caller.
Emmanuel Mwamba.
Yes, my brother.
Yes. I'm just contributing. I think what Brebna Changala is saying is good, because we need to help the people who are suffering. We on Bill 7, we didn't help the Oasis Forum, but this time we have to help the bishop, because he's not being persecuted because of his personal issues. No, he's being persecuted because of he's talking for the Zambian people. Would also call all the people, all the opposition political parties, to help and fight for the noble cause, because this one is talking for us, and we need to escort him on Monday. We need masses of people, all political parties. They shouldn't look at one person or what. Because this one which has come, it will also come for us next time. So we need to come together and fight for the noble cause. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'll be taking the last 3 calls and we'll wind up today. Today the message was very clear. We were hosting... Yeah. Yeah, let me take the last 3 calls. Hello, caller, please tell us your name.
My name is Uncle Joe.
Uncle Joe, make your contributions.
Thank you very much. Well articulated, Brebna Changala, always on point. Indeed, our country is under siege, and it's high time that we Zambians actually took it upon ourselves, because what is happening, liberation will not come by political parties if we remain behind and think that the political leaders are the ones that are going to fight for this independence. It's actually us Zambians. This man, when he's done with political parties like he's done, he knows that they will not actually, fight him back as they ought to. He will have now to target the next thing, that is the church. He has failed to infiltrate the Catholic because at some point he was trying to divide and rule them by, trying to get certain bishops on their side. But they failed to do that. And this attack on Alik Banda, Bishop Alik Banda, is not just an attack on an individual. It is an attack on an institution, the Roman Catholic. And the Roman Catholic faithfuls, please, do not take this lightly. Dictators are never satisfied. They start one, once they achieve the first goal, they'll go for the second goal. And that is how they go until they consume everything and later on consume themselves. That is how they behave. So we are calling upon all Catholic faithfuls, in fact, Christians at large, because when they are done with the Catholics, they will come after other independent voices also in the Christendom. So don't think, he started, people were just saying, oh, it is PF, oh, it is PF, it is PF. They are done with PF. What happens next? They went to the law. Now they are done with the law. Which voice is remaining? They know that the Catholic are forced to reckon. What do? They are targeting him. And say after that, God only knows who next. So we have to stop this, and we have to stop it on Monday. On Monday, let us send a voice to President Hakainde Hichilema to understand that Zambia was given to him by God's grace to preside over the people of Zambia, not to run it as his farm, but as a country with consensus from people. You can never take people for granted. They already know that they can't win an election legitimately. So what do? It's these hand-to-hand methods that they are trying to use. But it will not work. I thank you, Ambassador Mwamba.
Thank you, and thank you. Happy New Year to you.
From 1.6 million to 28.3 million kwacha per year per constituency. Do your numbers. Let me remind those who don't like graphs and numbers. You can't run a country without numbers. You cannot run a country without numbers. Then you are a joker. You are just a joker. Because you cannot run a country without knowing that if you borrow too much and you consume that money, you get into debt trap. You have to calculate. You must put most of that money into revenue generating. When you revenue generate, you can then support CDF to a tune of 28.3 million kwacha. That's how it works. You need to know the numbers. Please, you need to know the numbers. You need to work out what the weather is likely to be before November so you can plan properly. And as a drought comes, you do need numbers, please. Otherwise, people perish. I was on the farm when someone was preaching, talking about graphs and numbers. All we were showing is that this is how we have moved from independence to where we are now. And there's something wrong there, which we need to change. That graph shows us that we've not been making the right economic and social decision. Now we must make the right decision. We made the right decisions by introducing CDF at this level, 28.3 million kwacha. And you will see that this number, these graphs will show by 2026, you will see that there will be desks in classrooms. No child will be sitting on the floor. You will see that maternity wings are there and there's water. You will see that the children who were not in school will be in school. You will see that there are enough classroom spaces. That is what numbers do if you know how to use them. But if you fear numbers, we have introduced free education. We can send you back to school and learn some more.
At the close, my dear young people, I wish to state and defend all priests in the Archdiocese of Lusaka, particularly particular and in the world in general. A priest is not a joker, for heaven's sake. A priest is not a joker, for heaven's sake. A priest is a shepherd.
Thank you very much. Today we're hosting Brebna Changala and we opened up for your views. There are momentous days that have been announced that on Sunday we go and pray with a flock at the Cathedral of the Child Jesus on Ali King Carter. There are two services, one at 7, another one at 9, whichever you are comfortable with. And then on Monday, we walk with Archbishop Dr. Alec Banda as he goes to the DEC. There's an attempt to isolate him from the flock and to put it that this is a personal matter. It is not a personal matter. We might have another program tomorrow just to wind all this up. So God bless you, and we will see you.
Point in time, as I've said already, I have not come across a single man in politics who is today thinking of spreading Zambia. Apart from this my head man in Zimbabwe, this is the southern province. What is he tried to do that, I think, but he didn't succeed. This what is
Honorable Mtoto Kafwaya. Yeah, Honorable Mtoto Kafwaya. Sorry, let me just come in. Sorry, Chair, Honorable Chimbakambi. Let's just invite the two that were not in this meeting, because look at the quorum here. You have over 8 presidential candidates. Let's just invite Honorable Acting President here and Honorable Katoto. Let's just invite them to this meeting. Honorable Grefford Monde, please just call them.
No. Oh, no.
He comes from Southern Province.
Southern Province, yes. This man who is
Hakainde Hichilema.
Hakainde
Hichilema.
Hichilema.
Hakainde Hichilema.
Who running this?
UPND.
Just like. Apart from that, there is no other leader I can fear to run this country.
Have nothing to do with the status of the target. The rule of law says nobody is above the law.
Sir, okay, thank you. Thank you very much.
Now, this particular case has been running for some time. We seized motor vehicles in this case. Some other people that are involved, so the ZRA case, and then we were involved as investigators. Some people have actually been convicted because government property was taken away from government and appropriated to people, individuals. Tell me what I should do as a law enforcement officer. So we issue a call out as a starting point, asking you to come. Because you have been mentioned in a particular activity. We want to hear your side of the story. Look, people are dubbed criminals, people are dubbed thieves in social media and so forth. We don't want that ourselves. We are professionals. We will not call you anything until it is proved in court. So we'll call you, come over, we have a chat. But here's the sad thing. When we issue a call out, colleagues, it's a private document for the person written on that document.
Off the microphone, I didn't.
Nelson Banda, come and report at DVC headquarters. It's for me. Then me, I'll get my lawyer, get my other lawyer, and tell them accompany me.
Yes,
but what do people do? The moment you get the call out, social media. Flash it. For what? It changes nothing. We're still waiting for you. So to be specific, you're asking, say, is the summoning political? Not at all. There's criminality. The Hilux is here. I'll show you the Hilux is here. Am I right? Is it fact here? It's here, you see it. One of them. The other one is parked. We couldn't just drive it out. These are vehicles that were obtained from ZRA illegally, and then one of the vehicles is found with the same Mr. Archbishop Ali Band that you're talking about. This is a white book. This is his name. I want to be very categorical on this one. Please, we are not politicians. We are law enforcement officers. We operate at our own time, in our own space, because we have laws that govern our activities. It's that simple. So there's no politics involved. Let me also emphasize, please, no, they are fighting the Catholic Church. It's politics. I'm Catholic myself. And I'm actually a very devoted Catholic, very devout. I was even chairman for my parish. And my wife afterwards was also chairman for the same parish. We're a Catholic family. His Grace, the Archbishop, is my Archbishop. Understand this? He's my Archbishop. I'm in the Archdiocese of Lusaka myself. So there's nothing political, nothing to do with the church. We are following this name. If you come and read, it does not say Archbishop. It says Alik Banda, something address and whatever. So we checked. Who got this vehicle from ZRA? So we just want to establish a few things. And that is what...
Kwenyu ndemwe chabe mabanja ona njala mkomo ndalama zonse mutumbalano masukwa kuchuluka pa mutupatu. Time is up, time is up. Kwenyu not enough. Time is up. For your lies and bluff. Time is up, time is up. Kwenyu not enough. Time is up. For your lies and bluff. Kanizanu ndizopanda pindu.